All right, tonight we are pleased to bring you Victor Camacho on the topic of forbidden archaeology and possible ET origins. Victor is a researcher and host of the well-known Spanish language radio program Los Desvelados, which stands for The Unveiled, which airs nationally in the US and Mexico and has been on the air for 23 years. He has been featured on programs about UFOs on the Discovery Channel, the Travel Channel, the History Channel, and the Sci-Fi Channel. He was born in Mexico, but has been working in US media for 31 years. Victor has undertaken numerous trips throughout Mexico to research possible ancient alien sites and has found artifacts that indicate ET beings may have visited our planet in ancient times. These strange artifacts belong to an unknown culture, so old that it could have given rise to the rest of the pre-Hispanic cultures we are more familiar with. Some artifacts have engravings that may show an alien language. He has seen ancient clay pieces that show UFO-shaped craft and strange insectoid-type beings. And for his first visit to MUFON Orange County, with exclusive pictures of his explorations, let's welcome Victor Camacho.
Thank you, Eric. I want to thank Jamie and Eric for the invitation tonight. This is really special for me because, as Eric mentioned, I have a radio show in Spanish I hosted for the last 23 years. And before that, I didn't know anything about the UFO thing. It was more for necessity, I don't know how to say in English. I need to investigate more about UFO because the people wants to talk about the topic. So somebody called me 23 years ago and said, you know, there's some people in Orange County that they have a meeting every month. Oh yeah? Yeah. And he gave me the address. I don't know if it was here, but it was the Orange County group, the MUFON. So I remember that my first contact with this topic, with the people that really likes this stuff, it was here. So it's really meaningful for me to be here 23 years later. I was sitting right there, listening Dr. Roger Lear with the implants. Yeah, it was a very big impact for me. I never have seen something like that, you know, that he operates the person and take these things out of the body. I say, wow, what is this, all this stuff, you know? But I have to talk about this stuff every night for the last 23 years. And right now, I'm really glad for your invitation. It's really important for me to be here 23 years later and show you something really important for me. And hopefully, it will help you to have more questions. We don't have a lot of answers. As much as you start digging about this topic, you don't find answers, you find more questions. So don't be worried you don't have any answers for your questions, because maybe we will die and we will still look for those answers. So maybe tonight, after you leave this conference or lecture, you will have more questions. So don't feel bad about that. Anyway, thank you again. I don't know how to start. Yesterday, I talked to the other group, the UFO Paranormal Research Society in the Studio City. Yeah. We have this conference last night, and somebody told me why in the 2012 they start to appear or talk about what I gonna talk tonight. And it was pretty good question. I mean, I never thought about that. Maybe in 2012, you know, the Maya, the prophecies and all this stuff, maybe open the gate, because after that year, I mean, in 2012, we start receiving reports about these strange artifacts. So in the beginning, in 2012, I received a phone call from my friend Jose Jaramillo. He's an expert for Maya culture, and he gave me a phone call, and he said, I'm starting working in a place where this family found strange artifacts with alien faces. And I said, well, and what is this place? He never mentioned where exactly he was working at that time. I assumed it was in the south part of Mexico because he's a specialist for the Maya culture. So I said, well, maybe it's in Chiapas or close to the border with Guatemala because it's the main thing for the Maya culture. He didn't mention where exactly he was working at that time. And he asked me for some pictures because we were working together in another case in the Tayos Cave. I don't know if you have heard about the Tayos Cave in Ecuador. They have found gold plates and a lot of incredible stuff down there. And we have some pictures for what they found it over there. So he asked me for some of those pictures because he wants to compare with what was happening in Mexico. So I sent him the picture. He sent me a couple of those pictures of those artifacts in Mexico. And it was, you will have the same question that I did in 2012. This is too good to be true. And then I told him, are you sure that this family discovered or found these artifacts? Yeah, I working right there in the site. Anyway, so a few months later, somebody called me again from Mexico and said, there is a town in Mexico where they have been found strange stone artifacts with alien faces. And he described these artifacts the same way that Dr. Jaramillo told me. And I say, what is this place where they find these artifacts? And he said, in Jalisco, in Mexico. But Jalisco doesn't have any relation with the Maya culture. Jalisco, I don't know you put in your mind where is exactly Jalisco in Mexico, but it's in the central north part of Mexico. Nothing to do with the south part. And also, the town is called Ojuelos. I guess the laser doesn't work in here. Ojuelos is right here. So this is a very desert area. There's no ancient culture to be there, So I called Dr. Jaramillo and say, are you working on Ojuelos in Jalisco? And he said, no, I'm in another place. But he never mentioned where exactly he was working. And say, well, I received this report in Jalisco. Is no problem if I can go there and check it out? Because I didn't want to interfere where he was working. And say, no, I'm in another place, so don't worry. Go ahead and try to see what's happening over there. So I drove to Ojuelos. And I found the first person that found these artifacts with his father 60 years ago. So it's nothing new. This is something that has been happening for a lot of years. And this person, Juan, he showed me some of the artifacts that he has in their home. At that time, this is the second or third time that I went to Ojuelos, because, they don't open the doors of their home to the first time. You just knock the door and show me the artifacts. They don't show you anything. So I have to get the trust of these people so they can open and they can show me what they have found in this area. So this is like a third time that we were in Ojuelos, and this time I talked to a TV station in Mexico, and I told them what I saw in Ojuelos, and they were really excited to do a documentary about this stuff. So they gave me a TV crew to go with me, and they put all together to go on and film the first, the visit for this. This is the documentary that we did with this TV station in Mexico. Anyway, we were there to talk to Juan, and he showed me some of these artifacts. And you see, you don't have to imagine anything. You don't have to say, well, yeah, it looks like, but no, it's an alien, a gray one. No? Or anyone has a problem to recognize that? I found Juan, and he introduced me to another people in the town, and each family showed me some of the artifacts they have in their houses. It's not just 2, 3, 4, 5. There's thousands of these artifacts. So he told me, well, this is another view of the first artifacts that he showed me, and we put it together. If I show you all the artifacts, we have to stay here for a week. So later. Okay. Yeah. And then it has a lot of meanings. This is like a Egyptian thing, you know. It has well, we need to just put it in the front, but it is like an Egyptian. It has the Ra, the sun god. So it's a lot of information in those rocks. So, there is the great thing, so you can see how big it was, the figure. So he said, you know, there is one person in the town that he works digging in the hills and selling the artifacts because he's doing that for a living. And we'll see. I mean, you can talk to him and see if he wants to take you to the places where he is digging. As I told you, you go the first time, they don't open. You have to get the trust of these people. So after a few visits, that's his name. He's an old man. He said, well, I will take you to one of these places where I dig. And he called this place the Lost City. He said, well, just be prepared. We need to walk, and we go to this special place. So I take the TV crew with me. We have to walk for a few, like an hour and a half, but it was up to the hill, and also to carry the cameras and all this stuff. If you know Don Manuel, you can touch this part of your leg. It's kind of soft sometimes. But for Don Manuel, it's like a rock because he's all the time in the hills. He's walking all the time there. So we have to stop for several times during this trip with Don Manuel because it was pretty hard to get to the top. But as soon as we got to the top of this place, it was really incredible because we could see remains of the ancient archaeological place over there. Right here is just walls, and also you can see the road. And it was a lot of vegetation. It's pretty hard to really have an idea how big it was, that place in ancient times. But he showed me this amazing place where he was digging, and some of the artifacts that he had found, it was in the Lost City. And also there's some caves in this place. This one, it was a big cave, but it was covered with all these rocks. So we didn't have the time to stay there and take the rocks out of the cave, but just to have an idea how looks this place. But there were other caves that were open, so we were inside of these caves. Just we need to be careful with the snakes and, you know, some spiders, some scorpions sometimes. So you just need to be careful with these little insects. And then we didn't find anything, but he showed me where he was digging. You know, it was important to see for myself where exactly he was working in these places. And this time I invite some archaeologist friends in Mexico because I want to take with the TV crew a couple professional people, you know, that give me some information and say, yeah, this is really interesting or something, just to get more credibility to this investigation. Anyway, they didn't want to come with me. After 4 or 5 months that I tried to take these friends, they told me, we can go there because we've been working for 30 years in the Mexican Archaeological Institute. We can risk our jobs. You will see why. So this is the last sitting. We're still walking around. You see it's a lot of vegetation there. You need to be careful with the nopaleras or cactus, because if you don't see it, you will have a little souvenir for the hills. They still have some of them right here. It's really interesting. After 5, 6 years, I still have that. I can't take it out. So be careful when you go there. Oh, that was interesting. Then, after that, he told me that he has sold a lot of artifacts to one person in another city called Aguascalientes. And he said, I have a pretty good customer that he has brought a lot of these artifacts that I found in the hills. Maybe this is a good chance to give you a call, and maybe he will show you his collection. And he gave me the phone number. I called him, and I mentioned I would like to see the artifacts that you just brought from Don Manuel. And he said, yeah, we will see you in a place, because in my house is pretty small. But let me see if I can rent a hall so you can see the artifacts. A hall? I mean, just in the living room we can see these things. Well, he rent a hall like this, and he put 9 tables like that, those tables. He put 9 of these tables full with the artifacts. So we arrive at this place at 9 a.m., and we have to stay there until 8 p.m. because he showed me 1,500 pieces. So we need to take picture and video of these artifacts. It was really amazing, because he said, well, you have all day long to take pictures and video you want it. So we start working to do that at 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. As you see, it's thousands of these artifacts, hundreds. And the TV crew told me, you need to classify these artifacts. And I say, well, you have a manual to say how to classify ancient alien artifacts? So everything that you will see here is the way that I try to investigate, because there's no any reference to do something with something like that. So they told me, well, try to see how we can classify this artifact, because there's a lot of them. So we need to divide it and see something interesting, meaningful to what they say, these rocks. These rocks contain engravings written in possible with alien writing, language. And it's really interesting because it said something about a civilization that came from the stars, and established civilization in this place in Mexico. And maybe they leave this information in these rocks for the future people that maybe have the opportunity to find these artifacts. So this is the classification that I did to these artifacts. I classified this stone depending of their engravings. So I check just pretty quickly these rocks, and I found these 5 different elements in these rocks. So the first one, it was being with wings. You will see what it means. The second one is offering of infants. They offering babies. And also what I see or what I notice is different type of beings. It's not just alien, just grays. There are different kind of the beings. And also the alien writing, the different languages. And also there is a mixture of pre-Hispanic glyphs with alien glyphs. So I just put the artifacts, and I classify the artifacts in these 5 different groups. So we will see each one of these groups. First, being with wings. A lot of these artifacts, you can see this. It's an alien with wings. I don't know, maybe I don't know, you have heard that conference, but I have a conference that said the ancient angels are the present aliens, you know, or aliens of today. Maybe they were aliens, the angels in the ancient times. And a lot of these beings, they show that they had wings. And also I will explain that rock later. This is another example for this being with wings. This is a beautiful piece, that one. It looks like an alien with a lot of position, with a baby in their hands. It's a beautiful piece, that one. And the other one, you see, is a different alien. It's a different kind of alien. It looks more human, but it has a long eyes. And also maybe this is a portal. This one is really interesting because this being with wings has the baby, and he's taking the baby from the spaceship, the UFO. I will explain you that, but I mean, these really interesting pieces with alien with wings. The second classification is offering the infants. You will see a lot of these beings with the babies in their arms offering the baby to the spaceships. But there is a relation between the spaceship with these people that are giving the babies. You can see right here, this is the first one that we saw before. This is this alien giving this baby to this one that came out of this UFO, like a genie, something like that, or genie. And he's taking the baby. And this one is really clear because you see that after this alien from the spaceship took the baby, he's giving the baby to another spaceship. And the person that gave the baby, he received this kind of sphere. I don't know, it's an energy or food, or I don't know what is that, but they received this sphere when they gave the baby to the spaceship. So it's an interaction, it's like a exchange. Different types of beams. As I told you, it's not just grays. It's different kind of beams. This one you can see it has a helmet. It has a helmet. It's a slender body. It has 2 antennas and 4 fingers. You will see in these artifacts all the time 4 fingers. This is another. Even the baby has like a helmet on it. So maybe they can breathe here. That's why they need the helmet. And also here's the alien writing. We'll see later that. But it's really interesting, that kind of being. This one is pretty different. It looks like a pointy nose, slender body, almond-shaped eyes. And the other one is like he's in a capsule or a spaceship because he's sitting with a spacesuit and he's breathing from here. Something is giving air or something. And also you can see the glass in the front of the face. something like Pacal. And most of the tardigrade aliens has the almond-shaped eyes, long skulls also. You can see this one over here. Slender body and also 4 fingers. So there is several different kind of beings in this artifact. So it's not just grays that came here. It's like a big civilization or cosmopolitan civilization came over here and established in these places. And also we can see female figures. Well, you can see this a female, of course. And that one is the front, right, and left. All the artifacts has engravings all around the rock. It's not just the front. So when we have access to this 1500 collection, we have to take picture front, back, left, right, down, up. It's like a 6 picture for each piece. So just multiply 6 by 1500. It's a lot. It was a lot of work to do when we did that. And then this one is pretty interesting. It's like an insectoid. It's like, and also has this sphere in their hands. It's really interesting. And also in position, like a lot of position. And the other one, I don't know, this is maybe it's kind of feathers or like a reptile, maybe. Maybe. So as you've seen, it's different beings, different kind of beings. And this is really important because it's not just grays, like the first picture that we saw here. And then the other classification, it was the alien writing, the alien language. A lot of these artifacts has those little symbols right here, there, right there, and doesn't have nothing in common with. I have some Chinese friends that I show them, and it's no relation with that. I have some Navajo people, and also it doesn't have any relation of this language. I have some friends that know ancient languages in the Middle East, doesn't have anything in common. So what we need is your help to see if you have something, a friend or any special gift that you have that maybe you can have this information because it's really important for us. Try to how do you say decipher this language. We need to broken that thing.
It looks like sort of like, in a way, the context of the drawings on the artifacts and the symbolic language reminds me of what I saw at Ica.
Well, the Ica stones. Yeah, we compare with the Ica in Peru, and it is no any relation with that. But, well, we will find it. We will find it later. So it's a lot of writing in the artifacts. It's a lot of writing. But we found one of these artifacts that is really special for me, that one, because it has something writing in the back of this artifact. And this one has something like a phrase. It's that one. And also we have some pictures of this piece. So it's this one. And it's really important because I don't know how they write, maybe left to right or right to left or the top to the bottom, I don't know. But it's a phrase here. The other picture that I show you is not a specific order of this writing. So this one is really important because it's something there that is a phrase, and maybe it's an order how they wrote this language. Yes. Yeah, you can put something here and wear it like this. So it's this little piece, that one. We'll tell you later. Just be patient. Yeah, it's what I told you. I talked to the Navajo people, and I tried to compare some petroglyphs in caves, ancient petroglyphs, and nothing is related to this kind of language. So if you are interested, we have this picture of this piece for sale, so you can take it home and show to anybody there, and you have any answers, as I told you, give you a call, and we will appreciate your help with this thing.
I believe some person decoded the hieroglyphs in South America, and so it's in the literature somewhere, and you might contact that group to see and show them these things and ask them to take a look at this, because they previously deciphered some hieroglyphs that were incomprehensible for 100 years or so.
Yeah, I guess you have the link for the group. You can send it. I will put my information in the end of this conference, so you can have my phone number, email, webpage, what I used to eat for dinner, and everything there. Okay. Another classification for this is the pre-Hispanic glyphs. It's really interesting because it is a mixture of already known Maya, Olmec, or Nahuatl language is something that we already know that, mixture with alien things. So maybe it was a really, you can see this a Quetzalcoatl over here, is the feather snake. We have a normal human being over there, and also here. This is the skull symbol. And here, this one is a Tlazotl, is the goddess of purification. This is the normal glyph or normal symbol, but this is the symbol in one of the artifacts with alien face. So this is the normal, the original, to say something, and that one is from the artifacts. So it's an exactly copy of the goddess in Nahuatl to these artifacts. And this one is really interesting because we have here a Tlatoani. Tlatoani, remember, Tlatoani is the king. They call Tlatoani the king of the group of that. So this is a Tlatoani. He just died, and this is a ceremonic way how they buried the Tlatoanis. But this Tlatoani has an alien eye. So maybe the family for the Tlatoanis came directly from these beings. Maybe they were hybrids, but they were the Tlatoanis for these people. And that one is the Cargador del Tiempo. This is a Maya symbol for the god to carry the time, but with alien eyes. So we see here a mixture, or maybe a hybrid relation with these beings and the ancient humans that were here in the continent. That one is really interesting. I call this piece Genesis stone. We don't have that stone with us, but the collectioner, this person that had this collection, I saw this rock in the middle of the collection. And it was really amazing to see this artifact, because you will see what is in this artifact. I have a big argue with the archaeologists with this piece because you can see the moment when the star people or the aliens communicates with the original people maybe. So you see here, this is a zoom of this piece. He's the Tlatoani, he's in the throne. This is a hill over here, and you see a alien, a gray, interact or communicate with the Tlatoani. And also you can see a spaceship over there and other stuff that I will explain you now. So why is important this piece? Because it gives me a lot of information about who is making these artifacts. We see the being known as a gray faces the Tlatoani, the king, and the Tlatoani is talking with him. We can see the symbol of Bergula. He's talking because this is the Bergula symbol. This is the symbol of communication. So he's talking. And then we saw the gray over there. And the gray, what he's doing? He's pointing to the sky. He's talking to the Tlatoani and he's pointing to the sky. There is a spaceship with some kind of energy. Maybe they transport this alien to the surface. This is a close-up of this engraving. So you see the gray one pointing to the sky. The Tlatoani is talking. In the middle then is a hill. This is the top part of this, and this is really interesting what is happening here. Okay. Here we see, I have a big argue with the archaeologists because they told me that this piece has 3 different languages that we already know. So the first one, kind of language, you can see the symbol of the feet. You can see this feet over here. The feet means walk. So they walk to the stars, and they walk back to Earth. So we can see that they were communication between those civilizations. And this feet is for Nahual symbol. And here is the symbol of the eyes of heaven. Like we are watching you, something like that. And this is an Olmec symbol. So we have Nahuatl and Olmec. And then we found over here Venus, the planet Venus, is a Maya symbol for Venus. So we see Maya language, Nahuatl language, and Olmec language. And the archaeologists told me, we haven't found any artifact with 3 languages together. Because the ancient culture here is the Olmecs. The Olmecs is like 3,500 years old. And then the Mayas, like almost 2,000 years. And then the Nahuatl is like 1,300 years ago. So in the time period, is no way that the Olmecs and the Nahuatls have the same language at the same time. And this is the problem for them. Well, one of many problems for them, that we have 3 languages in this piece. But the really important thing for me, and maybe for you too, do you remember where this is another symbol over here. This is a cave symbol. This is an Olmec. So, do you remember where the grays came from? The alien grays? Remember where they came from? Where? Or Seri Reticuli? Okay. Who of you knew that? Who didn't know that the grays came from Zeta Reticuli? Who didn't know that? Okay. And you have years to study aliens, isn't it? Okay. No, what I told you, that is because what you see in the middle of this artifact? Two stars. You remember how it's Zeta Reticuli? It's a binary system. So, if the person is a person in the town in Ojuelos doing this, he needs to know astrology, astronomy, ancient cultures, ancient languages, and also ufology. Because the gray is pointing to the stars or to the sky, but he's pointing to the two suns. If you don't know anything about ufology, you say, oh, well, there's two suns over there, that's cool. But it has some meaning because they came from Zeta Reticuli, and Zeta Reticuli has two suns on it. So this is the Zeta Reticuli picture. You need to find where is Zeta Reticuli, right here. It has two suns on it. This is the best picture that we have of Zeta Reticuli, right there. Right there, the Zeta Reticuli and two suns. This picture has like 2 years or year and a half. How these people in Ojuelos knew that Zeta Reticuli has two suns and the grays came from Zeta Reticuli. This is one of the many questions that I have, you know. So this is the really interesting how these people knew that they came from Zeta Reticuli and how it looks Zeta Reticuli with the two suns over here and two suns there. I just give you that to think about it, you know, because we won't find any answers. This is another interesting piece. I color interstellar map. This map maybe shows us where this civilization came from. You will see a lot of these artifacts with this planet over here, with some kind of artifacts around the planet, but this planet has been destroyed by an asteroid. That's why they move. They have to leave their planet. And maybe they move and cross Saturn. This is the rings of Saturn. Do you remember that between Saturn and Earth, it was a planet that was destroyed? Remember? I guess the planet was Marduk? Marduk? Because it shows something here that hit the planet and it was destroyed too. So maybe it was Marduk. And then they moved to Earth and they established here. I don't know, I just try to guess. I mean, you have to put all these symbols together and try to make something that makes sense. But it makes sense. It makes sense. If you knew the facts. And this is the front part of this piece. And that one is the back. You see his 4 fingers over there? So, as I told you, it's really difficult to... I've been watching those pictures for the last 7 years and try to put something all together and try to see what the information they want to leave to us. But fortunately, it's not a lot of people that wants to work to do that. You know, even the Mexican government doesn't want to do anything with these artifacts. So we're losing a lot of information. That collection for that person maybe is the first and the last time that we will see it. So just we have the picture and that's it. Maybe this piece is lost already. And it means a lot. But it's lost. So the only thing that we have is just the picture of the symbols. So this is the legacy that this civilization wants to give us for the people in the future. So we tried to investigate this for the last 7 years, and then we visit a lot of places where those people are finding these artifacts. And I will show you some of these places. After the Lost City, remember the first place that we visit? I received a phone call from Don Manuel, and he said, Victor, I found another place that I call the temple. I say, well, why the temple? What's the difference between the Lost City and the temple? And say, well, we have found here beautiful pieces, beautiful artifacts. So he said, you want to go with me? And say, yeah, just give me the chance to get to Mexico, and we'll go there. So this is the Lost City, the vacation of the Lost City, and the temple is like 6 miles away. And then in the middle of this is a lot of archaeological sites that some people have found a lot of artifacts. So you see, this is no small town. It's 6 miles long. So a lot of people live there. So we went to the temple. We have to drive to the temple. There is no streets, no freeways to get to the temple. You need to go to some paths, and there are the roads over there. So I take another crew, TV crew. I told to the TV station that we just made this documentary. But also we aired this in Mexico City. This was in the TV. And after we play in the TV, the people just were amazed about this information. I received a lot of emails, a lot of messages about asking me, what the hell is this? Why did they know about this? This is in Mexico, and why didn't nobody told us about these artifacts before? A lot of questions for the people, 1,000 questions. So the TV station were pretty happy because we make a lot of noise. And I told him, I just received a call from Don Manuel, and he said that this is another place. I say, okay, what do you need? Well, a TV crew, the car. Well, they gave me that because the first one, it was kind of small, and said, well, I need a little bigger car, and they gave me that. And so we went to the temple. We need to cross some kind of race. They divide the lots that they have with this rock, so we have to cross it with equipment. We need to walk a little bit again, and a little bit more, and a little bit more until we saw the hill with the temple in the top. And Don Manuel told me, that one is Don Manuel, and Don Manuel told me, well, the temple is right there at the top, so we need to get there. I say, well, okay, let's go there. So we need to walk a little bit to the hill until we get there. We need to cross again the cactus and also all this vegetation. So it's no easy way to get to those places. I mean, it's not open to the public, it's no restrooms there. It's something that is just hidden for thousands of years, so it's hundreds of years there. The vegetation is pretty dense. He was bringing a machete, and I was bringing my... Yeah, because I don't want any more souvenirs in my head. So we were closer to the top of the hill, and he said, well, we can see here the wall of the temple. You see the wall of the temple? Let me put a close-up of that. There you go. There is the wall. Yeah. But a lot of vegetation over the wall. So we walk a little bit around the hill to get to the top. And then, again, pretty careful with the cactus. And then we found something really interesting, a stone stairway. you see, well, this is a hill, there's nothing here, and there's some steps. So this is a stairway. And then Don Manuel told me, look over here. I found something here before, and I will show you how they buried the bodies. So he showed me this hole with this kind of stone box. You see there? Much better. So he found these graves, and he just opened it and take whatever is inside. He told me that when he tried to touch the body, because when he opened it, it's a body there, as soon as he touched it, it just disintegrates. So it's really old. And I told him, well, why do you think this is a temple? And he said, because I have found here beautiful things. And, well, this is the stone box where is a grave. We were looking if there's something there. As you see, this is the vegetation at the top. You can't see anything. You know, it's really part of the structure is just in the floor. Right here, I am standing in one of the walls. And he said, you know, I just have digging around, but we need to get through. Maybe something beautiful is inside. But we need equipment. You know, we can't take equipment there. And also it's private property there. So we had just to cross without any permission to get there. But you see the structure in the top of this hill. And why he mentioned that he found beautiful stuff or beautiful pieces, well, he had found something like this. This pectoral. Eric, just tell me when it's a break, because I don't have any watch over here. I told you later. I put it yesterday. That's pretty sad that I can't put it together. Well, anyway, is this. That's the real thing. So he found this in the temple. It's a pectoral. And it has a lot engraved in all this around the rocks. Gladys, ¿me ayudas a desatorarlo? Thank you. Yeah. But also, he had found something really amazing there. With this pectoral, he found this sword. So this is a ceremonial. Well, maybe with extreme symbols, with alien writing. So you see an alien face there. So that's why he called this the temple, because he found a grave with the pectoral, and this sword. So these are ceremony artifacts. But sadly, because he has an alien face, the government doesn't want to know anything about it. So we're losing these artifacts. There's a lot of these artifacts in Germany, in France, here in the US, in Japan, wherever have the money to pay for. So this piece came from the temple. So that's what I want to show you, where they have found this, because you have seen pictures maybe or videos on YouTube, but it's just pictures. So now you know where they came from. How's the place where these artifacts came from. and how it looks really, these artifacts. Yes? You see that it's not the same just to see pictures in the web pages or videos in YouTube. You have to see it for yourself, touch it, and see that this is a real thing. For me, right now, this is the real ancient aliens. It's not a show. This is the real thing. Because these artifacts has been made for this civilization, maybe that came from the stars, and they lived this for a testimony that they were here. And maybe we came from them. And I don't know, it's really blows your mind when you see this in those places. Okay, so he gave me another phone call and say, Victor, I found another place. I've been digging another place, and I have found different kind of artifacts. I say, what's the difference between the things that you had found before? And he said, well, because those are black stones. I said, black stones, all right. He said, well, you want to come over? I will take you there. So again, I had to go back to Mexico. And then at this time, I don't have any more the support of the East TV station. So I have to take my own cameraman with me. And then we start recording or visit again to Ojuelos in Jalisco. So we went to Jalisco again, to Ojuelos. So we visited already the Lost City. We were in the temple, and then this place with the black rocks. The distance between those 2 points is like 20 miles. Okay? And Ojuelos is right here. So we went to the black rock place, and again, we need to walk a little bit between the mountain range, the hills, and then we have to go in the middle of this range, and big boulders again. There is Don Manuel and my cameraman that I have to take with me in this time. So we were walking a little bit in the middle of the rocks until we get to the down of this small, it's not a river, I guess it's when it's raining, this water running there, but it's not all the time. And then there is something really interesting. It's a boulder with a lot of holes. I guess you have seen this in videos and pictures. I guess they are called tacit boulders. They don't really know for sure why they use this, how they use it. So they have any idea that maybe they're used to do the seeds, the grains, and also for religion ceremonies, because another scientific says that they did a sacrifice in the top of the rock and the blood just filled the holes. Another person said that it's maybe astronomical observatories to see the stars. So we don't know how they use it. But what we know is they used it like 12 to 10,000 years ago. It's really old. So just to have any idea about that. So we were there, and he said that he was digging and looking around, and he found these strange artifacts with this kind of rock. It's a black rock. No, but this is like 3-4 years later of that. And then we have this kind of artifacts with this material. This is a female. And again, it has 4 fingers on it. He has like a third eye over here. And that one is a calendar. That calendar is right here. So it is the calendar. This rock is pretty heavy, but it's soft. I know that it's soft because I can take this in airplane, and so I have to send it from Mexico City to TJ. And this company broke all this artifact from here, so I have to fix it. And that's why I know that it's soft, because it's really soft, but it's really heavy. It's really heavy. So it has engraving over here too in the back. Let me show you the zoom of the right there. And it has alien writing all over here. But as I told you, I have to fix it. Unfortunately, they broke all this part. So that picture helped me a lot to put it all together. But anyway, this is a really beautiful piece. This one. Over here. All right. And then he found another pieces with the same material. That one, I don't have that one. It was too expensive to buy it. You have to buy the artifacts. They don't give you that. So I have to save like 2 years to have some of these artifacts because they're really, really expensive. So Don Manuel just keep it for me in her house, and I just send the money until it was full. I mean, the price it was paid, and I go there and pick it up. Yeah, because it's really expensive. And this one is really amazing. Well, all of them are amazing, you know, but this one, we could rescue that one. We have that one. It's a UFO. It's a UFO, and you see the lights with different stones on it. And it has engraving all the pieces with symbols and glyphs. Nope. No, it's not. No idea. I don't have any idea. This is the simple, really simple UFO. He had found amazing UFO thing, but I don't have the money to buy it. Maybe another time I will show you the pictures. It's the only thing that maybe exists right now, but it has a spaceship with the alien thing. Mm-hmm. So your question is, what kind of material is this? We have carbon dating these artifacts. As you know, the carbon dating is kind of expensive. Each time that we carbonated any piece or any sample is $1,700. And no, is not a lot of places where we can take the artifacts because they don't want to do it, the carbonated or this kind of artifacts. So the analysis of these artifacts is we have tested some of this. Some friend, Dr. Jaramillo, the first guy that I told you that he gave me the first phone call of the report of these artifacts, he did the carbon dating for 3 pieces, 3 artifacts. And the carbon dating thing, it was 16,000 years old, 10,000 years old, and 8,000 years old. We are talking that they were here for thousands of years.
But those civilizations you said were 1,300 years, 2,000 years, and 3,500 years or something.
16, 10, and 8. How they carbonated these artifacts? We use the inlays that those artifacts has, because you see it's different material. So they have to use something to glue, to put together. So we have to take the eye out and take a sample of the glue, because the glue is organic. So that's why they carbonate those pieces. So those numbers are from Dr. Jaramillo. He did in this investigation in other place, and he took this to the lab. Okay, this one is a pretty nice. Let me say something about that. I guess my wife moved the things that I have on hand. Right here. All right. We took one of these artifacts to a lab in Salt Lake City. So as you see, those are pretty small. Last night, somebody asked me, how big are these artifacts? Well, the small one is this one. Is that one that I should just show you. So it's really small. And let me show you the pictures of this so you can see much better than here in my finger. So this one in the middle is this one. And you see it has the arms for fingers. You have a lips, nose, the eyes. How they made this? But first, how they found this? So how they found this little thing? Let me tell you how Don Manuel found it. He was digging, as usual in the hills. There's a lot of ants in the hills. So he was digging, he hadn't found anything that day, and he saw the ants all around there. And then he saw one line on the ants with something different. No leaves, no small branches, nothing like that. They were carrying something like this. You know, there is the small ones. And then we put the other ones. You see, these really small ones. Smaller than this one. So he saw the ants and said, what the hell is that thing? So he just looked closely, and he followed the ants to the ant hill and say, okay, I'm sorry, and start digging the ant hill. So he found some of this small thing. Yeah. But this is like a centimeter long. Isn't it amazing how he found this? I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, I don't know if Don Manuel is making this up. He has a lot of imagination, you know. But it's really no way how to do this without broken the. This is the front part. You see the nose, the eyes, lips, even has the panza, the tummy over here, 2 legs, the long arms, 4 fingers. So I took this piece to Teotihuacan. You know, Teotihuacan is a big archaeological site in Mexico, close to Mexico City. And I took another piece, and I said, because a lot of stores around that they make copies of the pre-Hispanic artifacts. So they are masters of this. And I give this and say, you can make a copy of this? And he was looking at this, and also he used something like this to see much better. And then I say, well, yeah, it will be pretty hard to do it, but if I can do it, it's like I don't know, I guess he told me $1,500 or $2,000 to do this, if he could do this. So I guess he just gave me that number just to give up, you know, asking to do, because I guess he can do this. Anyway, this is the right side. Even have a hole on it. How did they drill it? Well, we took this to the lab in Salt Lake City. Yeah, they asked me for the piece, this small piece, and then they put it in the microscope. They use the electrons microscope. That is that machine, and they took those pictures. So those are the fingers. They don't use any laser, because the first thing that you have in mind, oh, well, maybe they use a laser or something like that. No, they use some kind of tool to scratch the surface of this material. We can see there better. So you see the scratch. So it's not laser or something like that, it's a tool. What kind of tool can do this? There is another picture there. I lose my remote. I don't know where is it. Oh, right here. And then this is the elements that they found in this piece: carbon, oxygen, aluminum, silicon, sulfur, chlorine, and iron. Those are the elements that they found in this artifact. And those are the rocks types that you can find in Ojuelos. It's a basalt, granite, tufa, and rhyolite. So most of these artifacts has been made of that kind of material. And also, we carbonated one of these artifacts, 2016, in the University of Arizona in Tucson. For that piece, as I told you, we have to take out the eye, use the glue they used to put it together, and the analysis came out with age range 95%, 7,500 years old. No, before Christ. So we're talking 9,500 years old. I mean, 9,500 without any civilization here in the continent. The oldest one that I told you is the Olmecs, 3,500 years ago. So they were here long, long, long ago. Yeah. The symbols are not now from the earth, but you mean something metallic or electronic or something like that? Well, those are rocks from here. We haven't found anything strange, for example, you know. Even I have a piece that is made with bone, right here. This is not rock, it's bone, a piece of bone. So this is organic. So as soon as we can have the money to do the carbon dating, we will do for this one. Because I all the time ask to Manuel, if you found something organic, let me know. So he found this one, and he keep it for me. So this is a bone, no a rock. So I guess we will have a very interesting carbon dating in this. And what kind of animal, something, or human, or I don't know. So this is another piece that they sent this to Germany, and they use another type of analysis. This is called thermoluminescence report. It's no carbon dating. And this piece come out with 3,800 years old. 3,800 years old. That one. So, as I told you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. What I just showed you is just one place. We had been investigating 5 different states in Mexico. This is just Jalisco. This is just Ojuelos, a small town. But we have, remember Dr. Jaramillo, he was working in another place. Finally, he told me where. He was working in San Luis Potosí. San Luis Potosí, this is Jalisco, and San Luis Potosí is the next state. So we have Ojuelos, we have San Luis Potosí, where Dr. Jaramillo was working. We had been in Michoacán. They had found beautiful pieces, different material. In Michoacán, they had found jade with gold. Jade with gold. In Mexico, we don't have any jade mines there. The closest place for jade is Guatemala. That's why the Mayas used the jade most, because it was close to the mines. But in the north part of Mexico, how they can found a lot of jade. There are pieces bigger than me, like a twin bed, the size of twin bed, that size. So those are really amazing. Maybe another time I can show you that investigation in Michoacán. And also 2 years ago happened something really important for us, for my wife and I, because we received a report that some guys that work finding treasure with the metal detectors, they were in the middle of the jungle in Mexico, and they found artifacts. So they give me a call and say, we found this artifact. I don't know why. I never know this. I mean, I just read this in a newspaper in the website. And when I read it, I say to my wife, we need to find out this group. Next day, they call me and said, we want to take you where we found these artifacts, but you need to be here next Saturday. Oh, gosh. Again, we need to go back. So this is another thing that I want to show you, the picture, the video, because that's where we found one of these artifacts. So at that time, I was now 199.99% sure that this is a real thing, because we found one of these artifacts, in the deep part of this cave, in the middle of the jungle, and also we found gold in the floor. So it's really amazing adventure that happened 2 years ago, and hopefully I can share with you another time this information and show you the other kind of artifacts that they have found in Mexico. But for now, I guess it's a good information for you to think about it, to question. Don't trust me, don't believe me, just investigate about this. As I told you, for me, it has to take like 6 years later that I was sure that this is a real thing. But I know that you were not with me in the cave. You were not with me when we found this artifact that I will show you next time. But I can tell you right now, I'm 99.9% this is the real thing, the real ancient aliens. We have a lot of information, something they want to lead for us for the future, and we're really fortunate that we have this information after the 2012. Before 2012, we never knew about this. As soon as we got the 2012, we start receiving reports about this. Maybe it was the time that the people need to know about this civilization, because they were different kind of beings that came from the stars, and they established in this region that we know now as Mexico, but in different places, not just Ojuelos that I show you. They were in Michoacán, they were in Veracruz, they were in Puebla, they were in San Luis Potosí. in these thousands of these artifacts that has been found right now. So I want to thank Jamie to invite me and to share this. This is really important for us because we don't share a lot to the English-speaking people. So that's really important that you right now know this. Hopefully you can share it and you can investigate more of this. We will keep investigating more reports that we have. As I told you, I don't know if we're going to have answers for that. But I guess this is what is keeping us going in this investigation. So I want to thank you for to listen to this. Thank you for letting me to share this information. Thank you, guys. As I told you, 23 years later, I'm right here in front of you. 23 years ago, I was just sitting right here. Thank you very much.